bring back stuff for the kids. Because when I was growing up, we had LaBow Wow, Romeo B2K. We had all of them. The kids need kids.
Yes, it's the parents' job to make sure their kids are watching and seeing the right things. But also, what else is this kid supposed to watch?
Where you at, Berto?
Kids' role models aren't kid safe anymore, and it's very obvious.
The teens aren't making music anymore, so there's no teenager music to listen to.
I went to go see Somber Sunday night at the Anthem in DC. It just kept getting worse the more it went on. He would make like super niche references to like 13-year-olds, but then he would also say like super vulgar stuff about like getting his stuff.
Do you think kids are growing up too fast today? There's an uncomfortable reason that traces back further than you may realize. Before social media influenced every thought, trend, and personality trait of a child's life, there was a different type of influence that decided what childhood looked like.
Over the years, Disney Channel perfected the formula not only for producing successful kids' TV, but also for launching countless child stars who would develop into some of the most influential adult names in entertainment.
And also some of the most scarred, but we're not gonna talk about that.
So who exactly is the Disney kid, and how do they continue to shape our shared culture as they grow up?
Britney Spears was one of the earliest answers to that question, and while she wasn't the first teen idol, because of course there were icons for every young generation, she was the blueprint for the modern machine that created the ecosystem every teenage girl was supposed to be a part of.
Being out there in the public as much as I am in the public eye, it's just inevitable that I'm going to be a role model for them, and they're going to have to, they're going to look up to me, which is flattering, but I just can't be stupid and do stupid things, which I wouldn't anyway. But I just got to, try to be confident and positive towards life, and hopefully that'll rub off on them,
Back in the late 80s, early 90s, the music charts were being dominated by grunge, gangsta rap, Madonna, edgy alternative that was seen as too mature and borderline dangerous.
I felt some energy in that Madonna.
The first wave of the Satanic Panic was back in the 80s when Christian fundamentalists blamed Iron Maiden and Judas Priest for teenagers unaliving themselves and playing D&D.
Since kicking off his Dead to the World tour in October of '96, Manson has met opposition at almost every stop along the way.
If they're going to have an atmosphere here that praises Satan, we're going to lift Jesus higher.
Because think about it, if you're a teenager, what could possibly make you want to listen to an album more than your parents telling you that you are not allowed to?
Parents all over the world were desperate for something safe and predictable for their kids. They needed a symbol of innocence that they could point their children towards. And as comforting as that narrative sounded, it meant a teenager basically became a cultural safety net for an entire generation. Britney was carrying the responsibility of being America's daughter on her back, but America was a strict parent. Let's just say that. In today's video, we're breaking down how an entire teen idol system was built, how it fell apart, and how the collapse set the stage of stars teens are obsessed with today. Welcome to the Girl Talk you didn't know you needed, and I'm not saying you have to subscribe. You're classy, and I decided that she belonged to their children.
Britney, you are a teen sensation, and there are a lot. I was watching the faces of people, besides the guys drooling and women, girls singing along. There's a tremendous admiration factor here. You represent a lot to these people. What is it?
That's so much pressure, man.
What do you think you represent to these people?
Well, I try to portray someone who is confident and I go for what I believe in and I go for what I want in life. So hopefully that comes across to the audience.
The influence Britney had on kids all over the world was also the blueprint for how kids presented themselves, how they dressed, and how they acted. The parents seen this anti-rock star, a wholesome Southern girl next door on the Mickey Mouse Club, and they said, yes, this is the girl who I want my children to look up to. But then she didn't fit that image to the media standard anymore. She was never supposed to step outside that blueprint of teen innocence. She was supposed—
When you think about it, I mean, I know it's not the only thing, but this probably added to all the anxiety of her, kind of crashing out, because it's like she had all this pressure to stay a certain way, but it's like she gonna grow up too. We seen the same thing happen with Miley Cyrus, who was after Britney. So, I mean, I guess that's just how it goes, bro. I feel like all these little Disney girls, they get put so much pressure to be perfect, wholesome. And when they finally want to grow up and be a woman, which I imagine all women go through the phase of wanting to be sexy and wanting to be viewed more adult-like, when you are on the polar opposite, it almost feels like what they have to do to flip the script is go on the complete other side of the spectrum. So that's why I think we get these extreme outbursts.
Supposed to be for the children forever.
Well, I think she has a great voice and she had a great performance, but I think that a lot of little kids watch her and like sometimes I think she can wear what she decides to wear, but I think that she should just watch what she wears at times and where she is sometimes for little children.
But the world forgot one thing that I feel
She
like
a grown
everyone
woman,
should
man.
know, and that is that teenagers
Not like she was walking around in her
grow up,
drawers.
They evolve and they rebel, and you can't threaten them with violence when they do.
With Madonna as her model, Britney Spears has upset a lot of mothers in this country, starting with the wife of the governor of Maryland, who appeared at an anti-violence rally, and well, listen to what she said.
Really, if I had an opportunity to shoot Britney Spears, I think I would.
Yeah, bro. Nah, they was tripping on her, man. Damn. Shoot her? Why?
Oh, that's horrible.
Well,
That's really bad.
because of the example for kids and how hard it is to be a parent and keep all of this away from your kids.
Well, that's really sad that she said that. Ew.
Britney went on to push past that mold of being America's token of innocence, but it left a hole in the perfect teen idol pedestal. Now, I do have to bring this up because once upon a time, teens and preteens did have their own designated lanes. There were magazines like J14, Tiger Beat, and M Magazine. There was music literally designed and
Y'all was
filtered
reading that?
right into Kids Bop. And you
Now, we
can
was rocking
say
with Kids Bop.
all you want about Kids Bop today.
Kids Bop is Berto
but back
approved.
in the day, it was a moment, okay? Around the time that they were really popping, they were out charting Drake. Kids were actually excited to download the latest song on their MP3 player.
I wasn't. But I'm not mad at y'all that was listening to Kids Bop, man. Kids Bop Berto approved, man.
Players put their wired headphones
We need to bring
in
that
and
back.
hear their own version of whatever was on the radio.
I needed the real though. I ain't gonna lie. I was the only kid in elementary school that was walking around with a CD player listening to 50 Cent, Get Rich or Die Trying. 100. That big, some of y'all don't know about this, but we had these big CD players. And the headphones look somewhat similar
Which
to this.
really makes me
The headphones look somewhat similar. Whatever, it's off the screen, bro. But I ain't. Oh, it's right here.
this song on their MP3
Before the
players,
iPods,
put their wired headphones in and hear.
We had these. We had the overhead joints, and then the big circular CD players couldn't even fit in your pocket, so you really just had to hold it in your hand for real. It was a good time, man. It's a good time.
Their own version of whatever was on the radio, which really makes me think headphones have really come a long way. This message is sponsored by Raycon.
Okay, get that money, girl. Yeah, Raycon money. Woo, get it.
Stepped in with a foolproof plan to make sure that the next teen pop star never stepped out of line again.
2006 marked a major shift for the Disney Channel as they decided to go a more musical route. Disney Channel was seeing success like they had never seen before. This new wave of Disney Channel stars would experience their lives changing overnight as their fame rocketed off at a faster rate than any of their predecessors, and Disney Channel was ready to cash in.
The immediate success of the hit television show Hannah Montana pushed Miley Cyrus, the main star, into a type of spotlight no child is expected to experience. And not only did it push her into the spotlight, but it pushed her into a lot of pressure. And what kind of pressure could a 12-year-old girl even be pushed to go through? Well, it was about the same as Britney Spears. It's just a bit different because for Britney, they were managing and sadly controlling her entire career. But for Miley, they were managing her whole underage identity.
Every time she had a thought, she thought about Disney and how they would feel about her response.
Do you ever swear?
I roughly know a lot about this because I had covered this on my channel as well. If you type in Berto Disney, you'll see the little documentary I did on this as well. Like it's crazy, bro. What these girls went through.
You stub your toe. What do you say?
I don't know. Ow.
Disney owned her mind.
The pop stars that were produced out of Disney were perfectly curated to be the perfect role model for millions of young people around the world. And the pop stars knew that. It was a piece of them they basically sacrificed to stay on Disney's good side.
Disney had
this this specter of the legacy of the Disney brand that always hangs over everything. And so they were much more conscious of living up to that brand, making sure the kids were role models, and that extended to the showrunners and the people running the shows on set. So you see Disney much more willing to part ways with people when they crossed a line or when there was tension that maybe has allegedly not been what happened at other children's networks.
Before we get back into the video, if you're in need of some easy free money, there's this app called Free Cash where they pay you money to play their video games. If you click the link in the description or scan my QR code on the screen, you'll be able to download the app and choose which games you want to play that are actually fun to make easy free money, bro. These apps are paying people to test out their games, so that's just how the system works, so you can make this free easy money. I'll show you guys right here. Plenty of people are telling me they're making an easy 5, 10, 20, some even hundreds of dollars extra a month. It's all transparent, it's not a scam, and they really do pay you the money through methods like PayPal, gift cards, whatever you need to cash out, they got you. So if you need the extra money and you like video games, click the link in the description or scan the QR code on the screen and get yourself some free extra money. Let's get right back into the video.
Disney knew that the more successful these stars got, the more money the parents spent. But the parents weren't spending much money if the 15-year-old star was seen doing topless photo shoots.
There's the offending picture in question, and it's Miley with...
They grilled her for this, and this shit was like, if you get the full context, it was not as crazy as everyone's making it seem. Like, especially when you compare it to now. When this dropped, the whole world stopped. Mind you, nowadays, y'all see this and y'all wouldn't even bat an eye. It's crazy, bro, how times have changed.
Just like a sheet.
Now, I don't remember how old she was here, so it could have been a little bit extra, but it's like, again, they did her dirt. Like, I'm talking about they were trying to throw her under the, like, she is a terrible person.
Over her front, and you can see her nude back. And her hair is tousled. She's got a dark eye on, a little red lips. And basically everybody lost their minds that this was so sexually provocative and inappropriate.
Fans and parents react after Miley Cyrus poses for a provocative photo shoot. Does that change your image of Hannah Montana?
Yeah. Well, I'm kind of shocked.
I'm embarrassed for them, actually.
I would have thought she wanted to be a better role model.
I believe if that picture had been taken in her mid-20s, it would have been okay. I don't think anybody would have flinched at it. But at 15 years old, no.
I mean, I do remember it being 15. Okay, so, I mean, again, yeah, but it's just like, they started calling her like she ain't shit.
Makes her look like a, scum.
They made her look like they made her look like she was something that she's not.
This was honestly the beginning of the end for Miley's Disney reputation. There were music videos, quote-unquote scandalous photos. Some even recall pole dancing while performing Party in the USA.
Miley Cyrus was one of the performers, and she actually performed with a stripper pole.
She's always getting herself in trouble.
I think if she was over 8...
I just think she was growing up, man. She just wanted to have fun. But like I said, it's like, I'm not saying that everything she did was right. What I am saying is, like, when you are caught in that Disney hole and you got to be so fucking perfect, this is the result. It's the rebel. They're like, I'm going to rebel. I'm going to go to the other extreme. And that's kind of what I was saying a little bit earlier in the video. And I think that's why we get why they do what they do. Because it's just like, oh, nah, y'all motherfucking think I don't got no personality. I can't do nothing. Watch this. I'm about to tweet.
It wouldn't be that big of a deal, but this is, she's 16. This is a Teen Choice Awards. This isn't the MTV Movie Awards. It's just a little too much.
That shit was nothing, though.
At this point,
I'm just watching those clips like, bro, y'all was gassing that.
Miley was a liability to Disney. They had angry parents, shocked and confused children, and the media in an uproar because they couldn't control their perfect puppet.
Also around this time, photos leaked of her and her boyfriend at the time kissing and cuddling. Disney was not happy. All of their stars kept a squeaky clean image, so Miley was towing the line. Her parents didn't want her to go wild. Disney didn't want her to go wild. And because of it, Disney did everything they could to disassociate with her.
Now, a lot of you and myself are probably thinking that the reactions to these teenagers just experienced teenhood was extreme, because at the time, yes, it was dramatic, but Maybe, just maybe, and this is something that a lot of us probably don't want to admit, but a part of me wonders if the panic that came from the media and the parents, a part of me is wondering if they could almost see into the future.
Well, I mean, with that in mind, there might be something there, because now it's like that. What Miley was going through was no big deal, but what we're going through now is straight degenerate.
A part of me wonders if that panic was them realizing that they couldn't control the look of innocence anymore. Now, here's where this video is taking a turn and where the story becomes way bigger than just two teenage girls. Because the overall circumstance of both stories sent Hollywood into what I believe to be a panic. I think executives took a step back and realized that building an entire brand on the image of a teenager came with a level of pressure and scrutiny the network and the teenager couldn't survive.
I'm sure you guys have all heard about this open essay that Joe Jonas wrote for New York Magazine. And in it, he talked about how he and his brothers were controlled, every aspect of their lives, by Disney.
Joe Jonas spoke of this in 2013 when he said being a part of a company like Disney Channel comes with certain expectations. That the pressure to please Disney Channel executives, their parents, and fans is the kind of pressure no teen should ever be under.
And while I don't put it past Disney to even put that aside and take advantage of these teens, work them to death just to cash a check off their bloodline for life, at this point, around the late 2010s, it was really out of their control. Social media was rising, and platforms like YouTube, Instagram,
wow, that's crazy. I remember that YouTube logo
Tumblr,
and this Instagram logo.
TikTok started shaping
Time
kids
flies.
way faster than any network executive ever could. The new teen idols weren't being filtered and media trained through Disney, they were coming straight from the internet.
Young people inherently look up to people older than them. Back in the day of Disney and Nickelodeon TV shows, that wasn't as big of a deal because we were shown content that was somewhat resembling a childhood reasonably similar to that of our own. But today, the kids on TikTok not only have access to also other kids making TikToks, they have access to more or less every other demographic of human being that exists. So it's up to them who they want a star to be or who they want to follow. And it's probably not going to be someone that looks younger than them.
Not to mention the teen stars coming from that era were way more mature than the pop princesses kids were used to seeing. Artists like Lorde, Halsey, and Billie Eilish were coming on the scene, and their music, style, and audience was shifting with that culture.
Around 2013, when songs like Royals dropped, it changed the pop music landscape. I don't think there was any way Disney Channel stars were going to be able to keep up with the mature content. They were still singing their friendly dance pop songs. After Royals, you see people like Khalid, Alicia Cara, Troye Sivan, and Halsey rise.
Kids were growing up with the music now. We were listening to party rock anthems, and that one song that my mama hated when it came on the radio, Whistle by Flo Rida, that song was nasty, and I had no business singing it at 10 years.
Yeah, and the thing is, they spun it so like crazy, because when you listen to the song, it feels a certain way, but when you listen to the lyrics, you like, oh shit, what are y'all talking about? I feel like the perfect example is The Weeknd's I Can't Feel My Face. That nigga said, I can't feel my face when I'm with you, but I love it. He ain't talking about no female though, bro. He talking about that snow, that cocaína.
But we were in a new era, listening to Kesha sing about illegal substances and Katy Perry kiss a girl. And Kids Bop was still going strong, but
hard.
They couldn't keep replacing the word kiss
and Lady
with
Gaga
as easily anymore. The lyrics in these modern songs were getting way too raunchy to mask.
One good example out of a few is their cover of Bruno Mars' The Lazy Song, where the verse on his says, says, meet a really nice girl, have some really nice sex, and she's gonna scream out, this is great. On the Kids Bop version, it says, meet a really nice girl, send a really nice text, and she's gonna write back, you're so great. Another example of Lady Gaga's Telephone, where she says, out in the club and I'm sipping that bub, but Kids Bop says, out in the club and I'm eating that grub. Why are kids at the club? Or even on the Old Town Road remix, instead of saying lean all in my bladder, they say riding on my bladder, which that's just strange.
What?
So now playing
riding on my bladder. Oh no, the weirdos done infiltrated Kids Bop, bruh. The fuck do you mean riding on my bladder? The hell does that mean?
With dolls at 12 years old, that was embarrassing and something that you didn't tell your friends. Even I was shamed for it. I vividly remember going through that stage of, should I play with these dolls? You know, I'm in 6th grade. Like, should I play with the dolls? I don't know if I should tell my friends, like, hey, do you want to come over and play? Do I even say play anymore? Like, do you want to hang out now? Like, it was a whole shift, right? But at that point, I realized,
as for my brothers watching this, did y'all play with action figures and shit? I feel like I wasn't really much of an action figure person. Like, I liked action figures on like a collectible level, but I wasn't really playing with them. I was more like, what I used to do is I used to go outside and I would get like sticks and I would like try to like make my own sword, and I would just run around outside flaring a stick in the air thinking I'm an anime character or some shit. I used to do that. But I wasn't really much of a action figure pew pew type of guy. Unless you guys considered like Beyblades action figures. I was playing with like Beyblades and shit and like Yu-Gi-Oh cards, Pokemon cards. I was doing that. I guess we all had our different little vices.
Realized that I was getting older and I didn't want to be a baby anymore. So my Baby Alive doll was at Goodwill. Now, they definitely tried something with JoJo Siwa, I can't lie.
Hey everyone,
they tried
it's
something.
JoJo. Welcome back to my YouTube channel.
I think she was the last grasp at hope for the kids and innocence. And they had someone to look up to, okay? She was still wearing high ponytails and bows at 17. And her bows were $1 million industry, so you know kids were buying them.
You brought bows back.
Thank you. The bows have sold over 80 million bows.
80 million in bows.
But it was already too late.
Never
We
mind.
were already in.
Hey, keep doing your thing, JoJo Siwa. Say what you want. 80 million ain't nothing to play with. JoJo Siwa, a bag getter. I see. She's good in my book.
In that era where it was socially unacceptable to be a kid past the age of 12.
Tweens today aren't at the mall anymore. They're shopping at Sephora, TikTok Shop, and Shein. They're also just not experiencing the tween phase altogether.
So if Claire's was going out of business and no one was shopping in them,
damn,
where were all the bows being sold now? No one was buying them. They were too busy wearing, I don't know, scrunchies. So, once JoJo broke free, because trust me, they're always gonna break free. That's the lesson here. That was the turning point that proved no matter the amount of branding, media training, or Disney, the middle ground was gone, and it was being replaced by something a lot more grown.
So as a child, you can freely go on any platform and take in any content available to you. And this means that the kids that are going on these platforms...
It's the parents though, bruh. And I did say this before, it really comes down to the parents. And I know it's a lot harder said than done because, you know, the internet's everywhere, social media's everywhere, but the parents got to parent, bruh. The parents got to parent. This shouldn't be happening. Full range, 24 hours, iPad to children should not be happening, bro.
Are being influenced primarily by adults and teenagers. And this has led children into seeing anything that's made for preteens like Claire's or Ardeen as cringy because it's too childish compared to everything else they see on social media.
So now we're here in a time where the celebrities teens are screaming for, or should I say barking for, we'll get to that later, they're not PG, and none of what they do is designed for kids, but yet here kids are.
Have you ever
took your 6-year-old to see Sabrina Carpenter.
And I should probably hurry up and throw this out there before y'all come for me.
Wow.
Yes, these celebrities are adults, making adult music, performing adult themes, and basically doing exactly what the industry rewards. We all know sex sells, but my point is it's now being sold to children because children don't have any other children to look.
It's a weird line, man, because it's like on one hand, if you look at it through the artist's eyes, it shouldn't be, if you are a grown adult and you want to make grown adult music and you want to make music that you want to make, it's like, it shouldn't, like, then why do I need to discuss or do anything to appeal to your child? So I agree with that argument, but then I do also think when an artist clearly can look at their audience and see their demographics, because, you know, as creators, we have access to that stuff, and you see your target demographic is this audience, regardless of what the hell you're doing, now you're in this weird place, like, do I cater to that audience or continue to do what I want to do as a creative? And I think that's where the line gets weird, but ultimately, I put the biggest blame on the parents again, because it's like, if you're paying attention to what your kids are doing, you're paying attention to what your kids are listening to, and you're hearing things that, you know, you don't align with and you don't feel like your child is old enough or mature enough to consume that, and then you get up out your body, pay for these tickets, bring them to a Sabrina Carpenter concert where she's dancing around half naked and actually using stripper poles and doing whatnot. Can you really be mad at Sabrina Carpenter? Or is that your issue as a parent? You know what I'm saying? It's like, you didn't do no research. You didn't watch none of the TikTok clips. You know what I'm saying? You just got up and packed your kid and took him, your 6-year-old child, and then you're confused. You know, that's kind of where it's like, I think it really falls back on the parents at the end of the day. But I do think it puts the artists in a weird place, because I'm sure they care. But they're grown adults too that want to do what they want to do. Like, especially when we're talking about art. I'm not talking about OF and all the nasty bullshit. I'm talking about just like making the music that you want to make and expressing yourself the way you want to do it. Why should they feel like they can't make the type of songs and perform the way they want to perform just because your child is, because you not allowing, you don't want your child to see it, when there's other people that are old enough that can consume it and digest it the right way? It's a good conversation, man. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments.
It's always the kids aren't kids anymore. No, the kids are kids. They're just exposed to a lot of things earlier than you would have been because they're always on that damn phone. The teenagers aren't teenagers. They go straight from being kids to being adults. Being a teenager used to be fun. There used to be things for teenagers. There's nothing for them anymore. No teen magazine, no teen award show, no teen channel, no teen celebrities.
So the fact that kids enjoy this is just a product of them thinking that being a kid is cringe, or
and these little ass girls wearing makeup and shit,
not having the kid-friendly space that parents want them to have. So the parents lash out like this.
Sabrina Carpenter is allegedly facing multiple lawsuits from angry parents who say that her concerts are, quote, too sexualized.
I'm seeing a ton of parents complaining about Sabrina Carpenter concerts, talking about that they're too provocative, the dances are too sexy, she's singing about sex and all this stuff.
But again, look, there's another example right here. I took my 8-year-old daughter and her friend to the concert. It's like, Mom, did you do any research?
Other stuff. Let's look at the bigger picture here. These kids don't have that training wheel or pacifier celebrity. Hear me out. A training wheel celebrity that will basically grow up as that child that listens to them grows up, and then eventually they'll all grow up into adulthood and then be exposed to adulthood things like the bike. I hope y'all are keeping up with me and all my metaphors. And we all know kids are sponges and they need an influence, but their influences don't look like kids.
I just don't understand how there's just not any age-appropriate, like, music artists for, like, kids and preteens anymore. Like, that just doesn't seem to be a thing anymore.
Nobody's listening to that no more.
Like, they're listening to the same thing that we're listening to as adults.
There's a multitude of reasons of why kids today look a little bit differently and act a little bit differently. And I think it's because we aren't encouraging them to be kids. Because when you think about the 2000s and the 90s, they made being a kid look so fun.
So now they're gravitating to more mature things, and they want someone that's young enough to be relatable, but grown enough to be admirable. Let that sink in. But Sabrina Carpenter was the perfect fit. She grew up inside the same safe and sweet Disney bubble that Miley.
But it's really the same script, bro. It's really the same script. Like, Sabrina Carpenter was doing the, the kid-friendly shit too. But she just went down her path. And again, like, at what point, like, Sabrina Carpenter, how old is she now? Let's see. Let's see how old Sabrina Carpenter is. Carpenter. Bro, Sabrina Carpenter is 26 years old. Now, again, are we going to sit here? We can debate on whether she should be doing whatever she's doing on stage. But at the end of the day, she's a grown woman. Like, she's well into adulthood. You don't look at a 26-year-old and be like, oh, that's a child. This is a grown woman. So it's like, how much pressure and responsibility is she still supposed to bear for your 8-year-old child? Like, this is a grown woman. Straight up.
Did. But when she stepped away from Disney and her fans stepped away with her, she didn't become their training wheel celebrity. And also, I'm not
like, y'all wanted her to still be making cows and farm songs at 26. And then there's the thing. If she was doing that, nobody be checking for her. They'd be like, yo, this shit sucks. I don't know, man.
Saying that she should have to take on the role to be a role model to millions of young girls.
Did having that label as being a Disney actor, was that a disadvantage?
I don't want to sound ungrateful. It was not a disadvantage. This is a box I wanted to be in. When I was 10 or 11, that was my dream. I wanted to be on a Disney show. But on the flip side of it, I didn't know at the time the way that people perceived it. And how it made them perceive your talent or your capabilities. And
how do you think it made them perceive your talent?
That's just like limited, or it's just like maybe one note or a little bit juvenile. And I think I was on a mission to prove them wrong.
No one should have to take on that pressure. We seen what happened to Miley. We seen what happened to Britney. So while I respect her trying to break out of that mode, it left a gap in the industry. Now we have young girls singing lyrics about tears running down thighs, and they probably don't even know what it means, but actually these kids are so grown today, they probably know what it means. And it's insane.
The reason why parents want Sabrina Carpenter to be kid-friendly is because there's no kid-friendly spaces anymore. When you're a tween now, you go from being a kid to getting on TikTok and seeing Sabrina Carpenter and liking Sabrina Carpenter, of course, and then wanting to see her live, and then the parents are like, why isn't this a kid-friendly show? It's not meant for kids, but there's nothing meant for kids, so what else was this kid supposed to like and listen to?
I think, again, I might sound ignorant, but bruh, I think at the end of the day, this is just the parents. The parents don't have a crutch anymore, bruh. So the parents need to step up and parent more. Find other things for your kids to get interested into, bruh. Go get them a goddamn hobby or sport or some shit, bro. Like, because yes, I'm gonna be honest, we did have the Disney channels and the Cartoon Networks, all of that. It was different, but it's not the same now, bruh. Parents just got to step up, man.
But not only are they singing what Sabrina sings,
but
they're doing whatever Somber tells them to, no matter how degrading. Somber is the result of a rising celebrity that didn't have to come from media training and Disney to steal the hearts of preteens and young kids around the world. And his concerts have caused a lot of controversy today. From making his young audience made up of mostly teenage girls bark for him.
Whatever, Nashville. Okay, everyone bark for me, please. Thank you. I like.
What the fuck? Who is this guy?
Yeah.
And then grabbing his stuff on stage.
Oh.
Like, aren't you the same mother I was just saying?
A 25-year-old attended my concert and was basically complaining that there were too many tweens there. I was making too many tweens there.
See, I don't know. Me personally, if I know that my audience is filled with, like, teenagers and underage girls, I'm not grabbing my dick on stage.
And even encouraging his very young audience to
How old is this nigga? And who is he? This nigga looks odd.
participate in messy relationship
I got the
drama on
Slenderman build.
stage.
My name is Shane. Everyone say hi to Mavis. Ready to call your ex? Okay.
Aiden cheated on Maddie, so we're gonna put his @ on the screen, and everyone go just like unfollow Aiden because we don't like a cheater.
Now, we can't be mad that this is what teenagers are enjoying, but we also can't ignore the fact that the line between teen culture and adult culture have basically blurred and it's just gone. I can't help but think back to boy bands and celebrities that young girls fanned over back in the day, like One Direction, Mindless Behavior, even Big Time Rush. And I don't remember them
Y'all was listening to Big Time Rush, man.
making their very young and impressionable audience
BTR.
say or do anything inappropriate on stage.
In a concert with a bunch of tweens and you're calling them good boys and girls, calling yourself daddy. What? Oh, and let's not forget telling them to bark for you. I don't care what anyone says trying to defend this man. That is predatory behavior, and it would be if
Yeah, that Somber guy is weird. I'm not gonna lie. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this in the comment section, man. I know it's a lot of, I wouldn't say controversial, but it's a deep conversation for sure. But, you know, we gotta have them. Love y'all, appreciate y'all. Where you at, family? Join the Twitch stream so you never miss a live stream reaction. I'll see you on the next one.
Where you at, Berto?